Welcome back, everybody. My name is Tim. This is another Real Ideal Gear review. Today we're going to be talking about dethatching. Dethatching is a service that I provide to a lot of my customers that they particularly like because it fluffs up the lawn. It makes it look really nice. Spring and fall is when I have the dethatcher going, when I do leaf cleanups. It just adds a little bit more polish to the yard. It also does a good job of getting the leaves out of the grass. So the dethatcher is more than just getting the dead grass or some of the thatch out of the lawn. It also does a good job of getting other debris that's maybe caked down lower in the grass and pulls that up to the surface for the mower to vacuum up. The mower that I use is a Wright ZK standard mower. It's a 61 inch with a 37 horsepower engine on it, a Vanguard engine. It's a really good mower. I really like it. It was the first stander that I bought. Prior to that, I always had sit-down zero turns, and prior to that, it was the traditional walk-behind belt drive. For those of you that remember that era, John Deere. I was a John Deere guy for a long time. So anyway, the dethatching process is really helpful. It goes pretty quick. You can have the dethatcher running by itself without vacuuming up. I usually go 2 to 3 times through a lawn. The first time kind of gets things untangled, and then the second and third time really works the stuff loose and pulls it up to the surface. I tell customers you can get up to about 50% of the thatch out of the lawn, and you'll see some photos and some video of the vacuum in action and how much thatch I was pulling out of some of these yards. Some of these yards were like 3/4 of an acre, so they're larger lawns, but at the same time, the amount of the thatch that was being pulled out was just ridiculous. So I recommend to customers to do it once a year, maybe every other year. It depends on how green and how fast their lawn is growing during the summer. And also I recommend that they do this in the fall. It's in the spring, it's nice because it sets everything up for the rest of the summer. But the problem with the spring really is the snow melt. And in Montana, if you don't get that grass raked up soon, the grass is going to start growing on you soon. And then you run into another problem, which is you're raking through green grass and not just dormant, or otherwise dead thatch. So springtime is not as favorable, but I get a lot of requests for that because the lawns look really nice. They have the best striping you can possibly get. The entire pass is pushed one direction, and you just don't get that with any other attachment. So fall is by far the preferred time to do it. I also recommend that they do overseeding as well. So when they do the overseeding in the fall, the snow does a really good job of pressing the seed closer to the soil with the weight of the snowpack on top. So I really think that's a good combination if you're gonna do overseeding. Otherwise, you really gotta rake it up pretty good, work it in, have a really good heavy rain, get that seed worked in closer and closer to the soil. You're not going to get a really high percentage of germination, but you will increase the amount of grass that is growing in that area for sure, because the way I have it set up, it's scratching up pretty good, almost down to the soil. So yeah, I've broken a couple of brackets on the dethatcher. So highly recommend the service. It's a great add-on to what we do with Ideal Lawnscape as far as mowing goes. It's a very helpful feature. This is not something that I'm hyping up to customers. I do ask them if they want it done. Most people know what it is, so I don't have to explain it very much. I do put the explanation on my website and on Facebook and other places that I have contact with customers. So they have an idea of what it is. I don't push it real hard, and I get a lot of business out of it, and it's very worthwhile. It is something that when you're dethatching, there's a couple of ways to do it. One is to vacuum up as soon as you're doing it, so every pass that you make, you're sucking up the grass. I think it's a little bit faster to make the first 2 passes without the bagger on it, and the third pass I put the bagger on it with the tines down on the dethatcher, and I do one more pass and vacuum at the same time. And that also does, makes the great striping. You really want to pay attention to your stripes, your lines at that point, because it's going to be very, very accentuated as far as where the stripes are on the lawn. So keep that in mind. Pick your point on the opposite side of the yard and stick to it. Don't look down, look up. As far as technique goes for straight lines, keep your eyes up and you'll do just fine. So any questions or comments, put them down below. Ideas, put them down below. If you have other equipment out there that's worthwhile, even for a video, please put that down. I just purchased, I'm a new owner of a Toro Grandstand Multiforce. So those of you guys out there that are Grandstand Multiforce owners, I would love to hear your input on what attachments are not only cool, I like cool, but are also highly valuable when it comes to making money in the lawn care business. Very effective, efficient. One of the things I'm looking at is the blower. We have a lot of pine needles here, so I'm looking at the blower. So if you have any ideas on that, the blower or any other attachments for the Grandstand Multiforce, I'd really appreciate it. All right, my name is Tim. This has been another Real Ideal Gear Review. We'll see you next time.